First of all, be prepared to realize that artificial intelligence is something that in the media and entertainment industry is not very new. We come from Technicolor Creative Studios. We are a 107-year-old startup, and our business has led the progression of storytelling over the last many, many years. A quick raise of hands here. How many of you have seen The Lion King? How many of you have seen Top Gun Maverick? How many of you have seen Elvis? A few were, yeah. How many of you have seen 1917? Okay, that was an Oscar-winning movie. You have to check it out. You won our 4th Oscar for that movie. Okay, I'm going to give you lots of examples of stuff so that you can actually watch what happens with AI rather than listen or hear what happens with AI. And today, I just wanted to say that many of the innovations that you see around you in this event are dreams that were first portrayed to you in stories, in movies and television, and then became a reality. And most of you know that. And we started at a time when there wasn't even sound in the movies. And we actually are people that are here in order to create heart-stopping moments. And I hope that this presentation does the very same for you. So I just want to move on to, I have a clicker here, I think. Yep. Great. Today, in our world, all of you are our customers, our consumers, and all of you want something that is unapologetically spectacular. You go to the movies, you go and see your streaming channels, you play video games in order for you to see that there is something that is going on that you haven't been able to see or experience before. And we do this by manipulating a gazillion pixels to make breathtaking imagery. Once upon a time, there was an industry called filmmaking. But there's no film anymore, right? You use your phone, there's no film in it. You go to a movie hall, there's no film in it. So I prefer to call it image making because that's what all of us do. And by the way, what is our profession? It is imagery and it is simulation. Which of your industries, which of your companies don't need imagery and simulation? So today in the examples I'm going to give you from our industry, every one of you can leverage the same know-how that we've been able to bring to brands, to game publishers, to movie producers, to television creatives, and so on and so forth. So I have a very, very simple approach, and we have a very simple approach to artificial intelligence, and it is this. In the lounge upstairs, I wrote down that artificial intelligence is simply intelligence created that applies to the data that's provided to us. Let me start by saying to each one of you, you are an example of artificial intelligence. Why? Because from the day you were born until now, what's happening inside you? You're accumulating data. Imagine you were born to different parents. Imagine you were born in a different country. Imagine you went to a different school. Imagine that you chose a different profession. AI could have only worked with that other data rather than the data that you have now. So basically, you want to understand artificial intelligence? It's you. It's us. It's each of us who has to understand that it only happens with what you have accumulated within an organization, within an industry, within any of the data lakes, and each of us are good examples of that. So I'd like to basically move forward by my computer is not working. I'm going to change this over. Always come with hard copy. Yeah. The life cycle in computer graphics, it starts with radical approaches. I've been in Technicolor for 14 years, and in these 14 years, we've seen at least 4 or 5 revolutions. So when we have started making the first Shrek or the first Madagascar or the first Kung Fu Panda, by the time we do 2 or 3 seasons, by the time we do 2 or 3 or 4 movies, they are dramatically different. Same character, similar story, very different technology. Our technology story evolves every 2 years. The software that we buy in 2024 will be clunky and will not work without massive latency in a machine that's more than 2 years old, because as you know, the memory is different, the processor is different, everything is different in that. At the same time, we import machines as a bonded STPI company, but we have to keep the machine for 5 years. So for 3 years, it doesn't do anything. It lies there somewhere, and I'm hoping we can give it away one day at CSR. So let me come to give you some examples to really wake you up. And since most of you saw The Lion King, I'll go back 7 years to tell you that this is a great example of how AI can make it easier to design and to create worlds, fictional or realistic. So the example here is about machine learning. And the reason I bring it up is that where basically we look at AI is where it creates computer vision, where you can train a system to read or scan visual data and create rich interpretations out of that, right? So what causes excitement today is that all of this has become generative, right? That's the big difference between some time ago and today. And I just like to leave, how many of you are involved in design? Can you please raise your hands? Okay, a few of you. But that's the big future for India, that I think we're moving from just executing stuff to making sure we do things end to end. And I would like to just say that design is not what it looks like. When we talk of design in storytelling, when we talk of design in media, it is not what it looks like, it is what it feels like. The images need to evoke a feeling in you. It's not telling you anything. It's actually creating, ways by which the design will evoke feelings within you. It's how it works. It is there in order to add convenience, to add depth, to add dimension to whatever craft that you are bringing to the table, right? No matter if you're an architect, no matter if you are in media, no matter if you're in the automotive industry. If you look at the Indian automotive industry and the 2 or 3 big brands from India that are now global multinationals, they have been able to do this because they lead by design, right? So that's pretty much what I think this whole thing is about. We want to show you that when we created The Lion King, there is nothing in the movie that is real. Every blade of grass, every creature, every set, every environment, everything was created by technology. And what differentiated The Lion King and now is become virtual production everywhere, all media will be created using game engine technologies like Unity and Unreal and many others, because you can see something before you do it. So the entire Lion King movie was done by X number of people sitting, Jon Favreau, Disney, and our team at MPC, which is Technicolor's film and television VFX brand. We sat inside a large room like this with controllers, and with those controllers we could size and dimensionize everything, and we locked the entire movie inside virtual reality before we started making the movie. So it eliminated all wastage, because you saw something before it happened. Currently, when you have something that you want to create, it lies only in the head of the designer. In the case of a movie, it lies in the head of a director. And you do many storyboards and art and everything else in order to try to see what will this look like. So there is reference, of course, that goes into it. For example, when we did a movie before this, which is where the birth of how we started using AI type innovations, we made The Jungle Book. How many of you saw The Jungle Book? Okay, so here's how it was made. 4 people from Disney, Favreau, and our team went into the jungles across 3 corners of India, across 4 seasons, and took hundreds and thousands of photographs, and then put them in rooms in order to feel how they should be immersed in a jungle, and then tried to replicate that using photogrammetry, using various methods in order to actually create that. And that was the birth of how we wanted to create photoreal environments. And that's what happens today. It'll be faster, quicker, and better when you do it. In Jungle Book, for example, there was only one real character. Who was it? Who was it? Exactly, the boy was the only one real character. But here's a piece of news for you that you should not tell anyone. In 20% of the movie, the boy is not real. Because he's jumping off cliffs, he's almost getting eaten somewhere, he's falling off in a landslide, and they only had one boy, right? So, so they couldn't lose that guy. So there's a lot that you can do when you actually look at the fact that today the future is digital humans, digital creatures, right? And with the way that we use technology, all of this can happen in the blink of an eye. So let me move forward to show you something where I'll show you the reel first. Can you have the lights down, please? This is an example of beatboxing. All of you know that, all that stuff that people do. Yeah, take a look what you can do.
Artistic collaboration is left to a partner.
Something that has its own creative value.
Using its own intelligence, its own insight, and its own inspirations.
So the question is, can we collaborate with an AI?
So we naturally thought a beatbox battle could help us test this. We created an AI to collaborate with a vocalist, Reeps One, resulting in a beatbox intelligence that improvises in a real-time duet and in a call and response battle of man versus machine.
We decided to use a convolutional neural network to listen to him. It understands his voice and what sounds and beats he's making. So we used machine learning to train it in music, feeding it hip-hop, R&B, and funk to know what beats are and how to improvise and compose music that would work with the beats that the artist is making.
And then it performs. It uses a vocal sample bank built from Reeps' voice. And it does it all in real time. And the AI creates improvisational fuel for an artist, and the duet together creates something totally new.
I have an other that's an extension of me. The interactions are some of the best moments I've had as an artist.
The future is really only limited by our imagination.
So what did you just see? I think what you just saw can happen with images, can happen with voice. I've seen an early beta version of the Prime Minister of India, who's speaking in a language, and then automatically in his voice, in the way that he speaks, it gets converted into 5 or 10 different Indian languages. This is all very early, but it's coming. What you just saw is a really interesting demo of where a bank that has all of this AI vocal can actually help the artist to see an extension of himself and be able to project things that are, new ways of creating art using a generative tool. So we call it augmented intelligence, because that's really what you saw in that example. I'll give you 3 or 4 very, very different examples from each other, if I can move forward. No. Can you just stop that video, please?
The world has changed.
Okay, we can stop the video, please, and go to the beginning. Possible? Impossible? Maybe? Not maybe? Yeah. Thank you. So I'm going to show you a very, very different all AI production, right? Anyone heard of deep fakes? Wonderful. Okay, have you ever seen a deep fake? Okay, you're going to see one that is something that we did with MasterCard. This is a very, very different reality that we played with. And we used AI-based neural rendering in order to create the image of Messi. Anyone knows the footballer Messi? Okay, a lot of you. Good. All right. So neural rendering is an entirely new visual effects method using no CGI. And it's using synthetic renders in order to develop an AI-based process that feeds data into an AI neural network. So obviously we took hundreds of different photographs and videos of the young Messi, and then AI was able to generate the final digital image which you'll see in this commercial. Has anyone seen this commercial before? Hey, hands up. Yeah, very good. So it's going to be new and fresh, and we'll have the lights down, and this will illustrate how AI is an enabler and not necessarily a competitive tool to what we need to do in all of our industries. So lights down, and if you can play that, please. Thank you so much. Thanks.
The world has changed,
Little volume.
and life has changed. So we ask, what's priceless to you?
Me preguntaba, ¿encontraré mi lugar? ¿Le gustará como juego? ¿Extrañaré lo que dejé atrás? Pero si hay algo que aprendí, es que mientras hagas lo que amas, las cosas que no tienen precio te siguen a todas partes.
Amo el fútbol.
Yo también.
MasterCard, proud sponsors of UEFA Champions League. Proud sponsors of what's priceless to you.
Can you go to the next slide, please? Thank you. So how do we do this? So as a company, while we make 20 movies for the big Hollywood blockbusters, about 32 large TV series, we make lots of animated movies. The ones coming out this year are the new Ninja Turtles. The one that came out last weekend as the #1 in Hollywood is Paw Patrol 2. We make 3,500 ad commercials per year, mostly and only for the international market, especially for big events like the Super Bowl, etc. And what we can learn from that is the insights we get dealing with the best brands in the world, their understanding of consumers across the whole planet. We are in 3 locations in Asia and 3 locations in Europe and 3 locations in the Americas. And I think that gives us the information and the data play that I'm going to talk about as I come into my closing comments. But Technicolor's work with AI and innovation centers around pushing the artistic with the technology, right? That's pretty much what we do, trying to invent the never before for the best brands in the world. So check out the site, it's called The Mill, and we'll take that forward. In my last 3 examples that I wanted to give you, how many of you have seen House of Dragons? House of Dragon? Yes. Okay, so the ones that raise their hands or others here, do you know that you can have your very own dragon that plays with those dragons in real time every day? Let me explain this to you. As we continue to explore AI, we've seen the development of a fantastic immersive technology. And what we did was, while one of our groups actually produced all the visual effects and for the House of Dragon, which has won us many, many, many awards, working with HBO and Factory Studios, we actually wanted to create a very personal, sophisticated, responsive virtual creature that you could own. You can actually customize and make your own dragon, and that dragon can be in the universe. Of course, you need to use AR for that. I'm going to show you that application, and it's really mind-blowing. And then please try it out maybe after this session. Can we have the lights down, please?
Bond with your very own unique
Volume,
dragon.
please.
With Dracaris,
the official new House of the Dragon app. Steal a dragon egg from Westeros and bring it into your world. Raise your dragon from a hatchling using powerful AR technology.
Nakiri!
Use high Valerian commands to train your dragon.
Nakiri!
And watch as your dragon grows and grows.
You will have a dragon one day.
Share your dragon with the world.
Dracarys.
House of the Dragon, Dracarys. Available now in your app store.
I never ever come to a conference without giving people a gift. So my gift to you today is a dragon, to each of you, right? Enjoy it, have fun with it, make sure you train it, and it'll do wonderful things for you. I think there's a fantastic opportunity for using AI as companies in order to help those who are not, from a different socioeconomic background. And we're very, very proud of the work that we do in helping young people through our CSR at Technicolor. In order to bring people, we're working in 27 government art colleges across the state of Karnataka itself. And I just wanted to also call out something that we've been doing with something called Learning Links, where we've inspired creativity and innovation amongst young women. We are creating from scratch game design courses that are going to help them to go into the fabled future. And I just wanted to say that that program is something we call She Codes. And I think there's a huge opportunity to bring more women into this industry. It's a matter of great shame that in India, in our production industry for visual effects, animation, and games, the average women in the workforce is 2%, which is really quite much lower than in the IT industry. We were happy at our company to reach 11.5 just before the pandemic, and we have to make further efforts there. But there's a whole opportunity now with new technology to bring more women into the game, because I think they're going to be the future of how to make things better. We've used these artists that have come in. We have currently, last year at our peak, we had 7,000 people working in our organization. We've also made another 15,000 people world-class, 20% of them are all over the world. And I think with AI, we'll make sure that our academies and our courses are powered by AI as well. So before I go, I want to show you a quick half-a-minute ad, and then I want to there's a message behind it. Okay, there's a famous actor here. You can watch it for yourself. Everything here is
So
AI.
if AI is the Wild West, well, who's the sheriff around here?
So what he said is, if AI is the Wild West, who's the sheriff around here? And this is a very important point, because I think what's important is that we need to look at the fact that it is really the Wild West. We need for more governance to come in. As in my role as the chairman of the CII National Committee for our industry, we are looking at what kind of regulation, self-regulation we can bring in, so that we don't really need a sheriff to tell us, hey, you can do this or you can't do that, but we can make that happen ourselves. My last few comments. For those of you who think we are a creative industry, let me give you a few facts for all the folks here who are, I think, substantially technology. We write 300 terabytes of data every day. We write 300 as one company. We if you look at your system and you stream a movie, you have something like 6 GB coming into your story. Do you know that what we store every day is 300 terabytes of data? Which means that if you look at the 60 petabytes of data we store, it probably is like 5% of what Google has totally. That's how heavy technology and storage is. I talked to you about computers and workstations earlier. And when we make 500,000 images every moment of the day. Right now I'm standing here and there are 500,000 images being made, by our team out there. That's what it takes to create imagery. And that's why AI will be a fantastic play, because the amount of data that we have for lakes and mountains and creatures and environments and everything else is a legacy inheritance that will make AI go to the next level. Finally, just a tribute to the team that we have. I want you to give all our artists and technicians a big hand. We've won many, many awards, right? So I stand here while they're all working, but yes, we have 4 Oscars old, many BAFTAs, many Emmys. We won the Cannes Gold, maybe we have about 14 or 16 Cannes Gold Awards, maybe more than that. So everything that we do is make in India for the world, together with our studios in North America, Europe, and Asia. And I just wanted to tell you that what we thrive for is that effervescence, that creative effervescence that leverages technology and makes something happen. So thank you very much for being here. Continue the conversation, keep in touch with us, and let's make the future together. So great to be here and to see you at Cypher. Remember, we met at Cypher 23. We can take a few questions. Yes, it's an auction, so you'll have to pay me separately. Yeah. Go ahead, raise your hand, ask a question. Yes, sir. Shout it out, I'll repeat it.
My questions are more around imagery, but especially when you use AI and you had the beatbox example.
Yes.
Have you gotten into discussions about the legalities of who owns that new fresh piece of music or imagery, or how do you deal with all that?
Absolutely. So in the world that we come from, there are 2 models. One model is where an actor or a performer or a writer, and by the way, there's been a big conversation around writers in Hollywood, as most of you know, which has now been resolved because they are apprehensive about the whole AI question. Actors are still on strike, about to resolve that story as well. So basically, in the near future, we can actually make sure that your avatar is scanned and that you are now a digital virtual person, which we are doing here. We've got a big grant of about 35 crores 5 years ago, and we can actually create digital humans in Whitefield. Government of Karnataka supported Center of Excellence for Animation and Visual Effects. To answer your question, it depends on the kind of contract that was made with you. So you may have a manager managing your physical avatar, and then that person will license your avatar for a particular ad commercial or a movie or for an advertisement, right? So typically, you can either write for someone as a service. If someone works within our company, everything that they create is the IP of our company. But on the other side, we might take the IP belonging to someone else and use it only for a particular application. So it depends on the nature of the contract. And of course, in the case of MasterCard and Messi, they obviously have to get all the right permissions from that personality. But the future of how licensing will work around IP, around brands, around dragons, around people, around whatever, will have to be governed by new ways, which is why I said AI is a bit of a Wild West, and we need for the industry bodies to be the sheriff or someone else to do it. Otherwise, you'll have the contention that today takes place between government and industry in certain countries. One more question, I think, if anyone has a question. Yes? I hope you're going to ask me about how more women can come into the field.
Of course, that's a thread, but
can you hold the mic closer, please?
My question's more around the comment that you made that the AI is like the Wild Wild West. I agree, especially this whole content creation space that you're in. My question to you is, at Technicolor, do you have like an inherent code of conduct? So let's say tomorrow a big firm comes to you and says that we want to release like a CSR video where we've done like 50,000 hours of volunteering, but we've not done the 50,000 hours of volunteering. We just need you to like create a deep fake video which says that our employees have done it. Is there anything at Technicolor that you'll say no to that such a request, or say no to that business?
First of all, we are a pure services company. So we work for, on the movie side, we work for the Disney, Paramount, DreamWorks, and all those folks. On the game side, we work with 14 publishers, EA, etc. Anyone here played FIFA? We have produced FIFA in our studios in Whitefield for the last 15 years. Okay? So the answer to your question is that we are in India meant to be a talent brand. Our clients are all over the world, in the Western world and the Eastern world, but here we are a talent brand. Anything that can drive talent to make sure that they keep up with the next generation of skills is something that we do. We do this both as in studio, where obviously we have very, very heavy kit. I told you the quality of the IT which we use, it has to depreciate in 2 years because something else is going to come. So we really can't bring people out there and put them behind something that costs 15 lakhs and hope for the best. But on the sidecar of what we do, we support the associations, we support industry events, we support GAFX, which is 2,000, 3,000 person per day event where we bring the world's mentors to come in exactly, I would say it's our version of a Cypher. And in those forums, there is plenty of things that we are beginning to do, especially which have a social impact. I can't say this now, but in 2 to 4 weeks from now, one of the largest social films this country has ever seen, which I think will have 100 million views in 2 to 3 weeks, would have been done totally for a social cause. Okay, and I think that kind of story will have legs in the future. There's also regulation coming out where all the channels in India have to have a certain percentage of their time where they actually create social content. So if you look at the entire value chain of where we have people, technology, and processes, and how we can use that in the future, we are open to hearing all requests. And if there's a proper scheme and a proposal, we basically like to do CSR where we look at the amplification of the right brain. Because for 75 years of this country, we've been English, math, and science, and I think we're now giving the arts a bit of a boost, and I think this will help. The AI story is a very good way of turbocharging that whole story. So that's the answer.
Thank you. Just one, disappointed that this started ahead of schedule. I walked in quite late, so I missed most of the session. So
okay.
I don't know if others share that
Yeah,
disappointment.
for a higher ticket price, there is a private consultation available. And if you catch me on weekends, then you have to buy me coffee and you can get a download.
Done.
Okay, well, it's been a real pleasure being here. Thank you for being a very patient audience. I hope that you will take away something that tells you that although you did not raise your hand for design, the technologies of AI are there for imagery and simulation. If you want to take your company to the next level, if you want to take yourself to the next level, if you want to get a new job and go to the next level, you don't give all those boring CVs you did before. Make sure that you do something really cool using the tools and technologies that we showed you, and go online and check out. Technicolor is the parent company. MPC is the one that does all the big movies. The Mill is the one that does all the short film, creative, experiential. Micros is the one that does all the animation, and Technicolor Games is the one that does all those cool stuff like Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty and stuff like that. So thank you very much, and I hope all of you saw our latest movie, Transformers. There's lots of other stuff happening in 2023, so stay tuned. And thank you very much, Cypher, for bringing us to this event and to this panel. Thank you so much.